Okay, welcome back everybody. So this is the first step that you're going to take before you actually begin welding. And this is preparing yourself to weld by getting yourself clothed properly. Now, I'm going to run you through what you need to wear and how you need to wear it to be safe in the welding area. And I'm going to start with what I'm already wearing, okay? First things first, it's best to be wearing clothes that are made of natural fiber. Ideally, something like cotton, 100% cotton, wool, linen. Most people don't just wear wool and linen around all the time, especially wool and linen that they're comfortable getting dirty and potentially burned. But cotton is not such a bad choice. Like denim is ideal, okay? I'm wearing a pair of cotton khakis today that are in pretty bad shape, so it's a good material to use. My shirt is also 100% cotton. Now, the next thing you have to know is that you're going to have to protect your feet in the welding area. Now, a regular shoe, like the ones I'm wearing, these are my street shoes, are not ideal, okay? It's covered with all of this mesh, okay? Soft stuff that burns really easy when it gets hit with a piece of molten metal. It can burn right through, and in fact it can melt this material on the way through. Not only burn you, but then stick some molten material to your foot. And that's not what you want. What you want to have is something that's actually made out of tough, durable, natural material like leather, okay? And this happens to be the boots, one of the boots that I wear when I'm actually welding. This is a cheap cowboy boot, rounded toe, that I picked up for not very much money. I think I even got these at a thrift store. Of course, when you go to get yourself a pair of boots, if you choose to, hopefully you already have something, okay? How would you not want to invest in a design like this? If you can buy one that's just all brown or with this on it, wouldn't you rather go with this? Okay? Regardless, the most important part is this area around the toe. What you don't want is something that's got a seam around the edge. You want something rounded, something formed. That way, if a piece of molten metal, molten steel hits your toe, it just sort of sheds off, or you can kick it off with your other foot. So you want to wear something leather, ideally, with a rounded toe and no exposed fabric above the toe box, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and quickly put on my leather boots and remove my street shoes. This is the ideal way to begin. So I have my cotton pants and my cotton shirt and my leather boots, okay? Now what I like to do at this point is go ahead and cover my leather boots up like this. Now back to the pants for a moment. You do not want to have any kind of fabrics like polyester or nylon for your pants, because again, that material melts. When hot material hits it, it doesn't sort of like burn for a moment before it burns through. If that's the case, you can brush it off. It actually just melts immediately. I had somebody making sparks with the tool at one point in my class, throwing sparks all over the place, wearing polyester tights. They discovered later that they had a constellation of holes all across the front of their tights, so you don't want that to happen. So, cotton pants, leather boots, cotton shirt. Next thing you want to do, and we're going to provide you with this, we're going to provide you temporarily with a welding jacket. Now, the welding jackets we're going to provide are cotton, but they're also treated with a flame retardant, okay? We'll try to find one in your size. They tend to run a little large. They seem to be made mostly for giant men, okay? But we actually have some sizes that fit everybody. So we'll do what we can to get you in a jacket that's going to be suitable to you. All you have to do is snap them. By the way, they tend to put snaps on these jackets instead of buttons. So if you have to, you can just pull it open really fast and get it off in case something's really hot, okay? And what I like to do is button it all the way to the top and then sort of like close the flap, all right? That sort of seals me up right around the neck, and it covers me all the way down to my pants and gives me these really nice long sleeves, okay? Next thing is a set of gloves. Now the gloves that we're going to provide you here are mostly, they're all sort of like leather outer gloves. They have some fabric and sometimes some sort of like soft kind of wool-like stuff inside. Bottom line is you're going to need a set of gloves. Now, I didn't think to bring a set over here a moment ago. We're going to give you disposable, I don't believe I don't know what the material is, a latex glove of sorts that you can pull on and then put your gloves on. So you're always putting a clean hand inside your gloves. Once again though, we are going to loan you a jacket, gloves, and a helmet of your own. So for the entirety of this project, you'll have those materials at your disposal, okay? So here I am, gloves, all right, all set to go, and I have my jacket in place. Now, I'm gonna ask Sanford to just tilt the camera up just a little bit, because at this point I want to talk to you just a little bit about the helmet, and Sanford's gonna have to make a few sort of like crazy sort of adaptations to sort of see what I'm going to show you. So for starters, each of you are going to get a helmet, which is actually going to protect your vision while you're welding. Now, when you're welding with a MIG welder, which stands for metal inert gas, you're creating a really intense arc of electricity that's incredibly bright. It's bright enough to blind you. Now, not blind you entirely, but just blind you a little bit. It's like looking at the sun, okay? You'll just, if you continue to watch welding day after day after day, you just slowly start to erode all of the receptors in your eye, okay? So this little screen is gonna protect you from that. And what happens is the moment when you have this helmet on, and I'm not gonna be able to show you this in the video, but we'll review it when the time comes, and you're in the studio training with me. What'll happen is you'll be able to see through the helmet just fine. The moment you pull the trigger on the welder and all of a sudden it flashes, that screen's gonna go dark instantly. The whole time it's flashing, it's gonna remain dark. As soon as you stop, it's gonna pause, dark, and then it's gonna flash back to see through again. That's what we're shooting for here. But I wanna just show you a few settings. We're gonna see how hard it is to get a view in there. And then I'm gonna talk to you about putting it on. So, how are we doing, Sanford? Can we see inside of there? Oh, yeah, turn it over. Maybe I can kind of get a sense. Let me see. Ah, there we go. Okay. So you'll see that there's settings inside. Now, I'd love to be able to point to them right now and tell you what they all are. Sanford's going to help. Okay. Why don't you start with the button on that one? Okay. That's a reset button. Not much of a reason to worry about that. So we're just going to let that one go for the moment. That's just to set everything back to a baseline. It's not necessarily important here. In the middle is a little slider switch. And what does it say?
Delay, and there's a slow setting and a fast setting.
So it's a delay setting, and so we're going to want that on fast. Okay, we're going to want to slide that over to fast. What's the next one say, Stanford?
It says shade.
Shade. Now shade is the level of protection that you're getting from the helmet, okay? And we want that set as high as we can get it here as well. That'd be about 12. To protect your vision from a MIG welder or an arc welder arc, you're going to want to have that set all the way up to 11 or 12, ideally 12. All right, and I think that's probably where it's set now. It's a little sort of rotary dial. And the next one over is probably sensitivity.
Yes.
You're going to want that sensitivity on high. So the second it detects a spark, it automatically darkens. And then as soon as you're done, that delay, the first button we set, that's going to actually sort of cause it to lighten again very quickly. So it'll be very responsive and very fast. So just to remind you, middle slider, high, okay, or fast. Mm-hmm. The setting for shade, 12. There are other welding processes that require less shade. And then the final one, you're going to set to high, all the way over to the high end. All right, so that should get us through the process of setting up the helmet. Make sure you have notes on all of that. Now let me just talk to you a little bit about putting the helmet on. First thing you want to note is that on the back there's this little star-shaped dial. The way this dial works is that you push it in, whoop, let me get a little resistance here. You push it in and then you twist it. And when you twist it, it actually tightens the ring that fits around your head. So you turn it one way and it broadens that ring. You turn it the other way, it tightens that ring. So I will do this. I will put it on the top of my head and I'll start by getting it nice and loose. I'm going to just press it right against the back of my head. and twist it till it feels nice and tight, and it's not going to go anywhere. All right, so now I should have a nice tight fit on my head with that sort of little ring. It's like the inside of a construction helmet. Now the next thing you want to be aware of is these little star-shaped dials on the side. When you loosen these on both sides, it actually makes the helmet go up and down effortlessly. If you put it up and tighten them both, it stays up. If you sort of find a happy spot in the middle, you can pull it down and lift it up, and it kind of ratchets up and down in place if you're doing it ideally. You'll want to look for that middle sweet spot. If you go all the way tight and then start going up and down with your helmet, you're going to end up stripping it. So just make sure you're always finding that middle kind of like ratchety spot, and whenever you're kind of loosening it and going up without having to sort of do it while you're welding, just make sure it's all the way loose, and then you can kind of tighten it up while you're sitting there watching somebody else or having a conversation. So that is all of the details that you need to know about the garments that you're going to wear. The protective helmet, again, we're going to give you the helmet, we're going to give you the jacket, and we're going to give you the gloves to hold on to for the duration of this project. We'll see you for the next part of the welding demonstration.